Friends, let's take a look at a GTP car that really did some important things for Dan Gurney and his All-American Racers team running here this weekend, the Rolex Monterey Motorsports reunion. Here we have the Eagle HF89 chassis 004. This was completed, the build was completed on January 2nd, 1990. It's competed in the IMSA GTP class. This 1990 season among the most competitive of all GTP eras. Interesting design here, the HF and the HF89 standing for Hiro Fujimori. Pretty cool person there, did a lot of great stuff at All-American Racers. This stands in a place of honor, knowing that what came after this, the 1991 Eagle Mark III, all-conquering, the most dominant GTP car I've ever seen. This is what preceded it. This is where a lot of really interesting things and good things were learned. This vehicle, if you take a look at the front, somewhat normal suspension layout for the era. You have the somewhat vertical dampers mounted directly to the bottom A-arm, connecting here to the outboard location point, upper A-arm straddling it. The thing I love about this car is the ginormous anti-roll bars. So here's the adjustable anti-roll bar there. You see that arm here. That cable can be adjusted from the cockpit to either soften or tighten the anti-roll bar here across the front. But look at the size of this beautiful nickel-plated anti-roll bar. That's a monster, truly a monster. But the thing that I really appreciate about this car is a lot of smart things learned, totally radically different aerodynamics applied to the Eagle Mark III that would follow the year after. But a lot of great stuff that they picked up and deployed. Look at the size of the brakes. I mean, come on, that's just silly. But if you look at this tub, one aluminum, some honeycomb, a little bit of carbon overlay right here. But if you take a look at what was done with this vehicle on track, there were 3 notable wins earned by Juan Manuel Fangio in 1990 at Topeka, Sears Point, what we now call Sonoma Raceway, and Del Mar, all with this 2.1 liter 4-cylinder turbo, just as angry as we could possibly make a motor, all running through 5-speed Hewland VGC, a fairly standard gearbox at that time in IndyCar, also repurposed here for high horsepower and strength needed in GTP. If you take a look at this motor, right, this beautiful 4-cylinder tucked away in here, you look at the width of this motor, and then you pan down and take a look at the width of the complete turbocharger arrangement, right, from this big old scoop feeding air into it, cold side of the turbo, hot side of the turbo fed from these ornate little exhausts and the wastegates on top of it. This whole turbo arrangement is nearly as wide, or as long I should say, as the motor itself. So just pretty cool, pretty stout. That's how you make 7, 8 or more 100 horsepowers. And then you look at the stock here, look at the pipe. Oh my gosh, right? It's just, that's iconic in and of itself. Also look at the nice sculpting on the rear brake ducts as well. Need to clear a wheel over that, so you see a little bit of angles here to make sure that everything clears. Same big, ginormous anti-roll bar at the back running across, splined, so that can be changed. I don't want to say super quickly, but can be changed if necessary. Fairly rudimentary rear suspension, again picking up off of the lower A-arm, going straight into its pickup here. No rocker arms or anything else that we would see coming in the Eagle Mark III. Your adjustable dampers located here too, not too far away to make adjustments if necessary. If we turn ourselves to the back of the car, that is big old wing, big honking wing. Main plane, a little bit wider than the upper element, but altogether this makes for a heck of a bunch of downforce. See here, this slides over the whole turbo arrangement. Try and keep things a wee bit cool if possible. Ducting here, feeding into a cooler as well. So here's the 1990 version of the HF89 Eagle. 3 races won. Moving into 1991, that's when things get truly outrageous with the Eagle Mark III, and North American prototype racing is more or less forever changed. GTP dies a few years later because the Eagle is so darn good. Take a look here at the intake plenum as well on the motor, and then a little peek inside. This car owned by a person who loves automotive vehicles, motor racing vehicles. Rob Kaufman drives this. This was also, I believe, a recent feature, the cover of RACER magazine, owned Vintage Motorsport magazine. So here's a little look at one of the cars this weekend in Monterey, the Rolex Motorsports reunion. We'll see this bad boy out running a little bit later today.